Hi everyone, my name is Elaine Wu.
And I'm Caleb Wright, and today we will be talking about the digital stethoscope.
So, a little bit more about the history of stethoscopes. The origins of the stethoscopes take us all the way back to France in the 1860s. To avoid putting his ear on female patients' chest in order to hear their heartbeats, a French doctor named René Laennec created the first version of the stethoscope by rolling up a paper tube and using it as a funnel, as you can see on here. Um, so Dr. Laennec realized that it amplifies the sounds in the woman's chest. He called this simple invention a stethoscope, from the Greek words stethos, which means chest, and scopian, meaning to view or see. After about 25 years, the Irish physician named Arthur Leard created a more complex model. It's this one with two earpieces called binaural on the ends of stiff metal tubes. So those parts are made of metal. And as the popularity of the binaural stethoscope took off, a Scottish doctor, Somerville Scott Allison, designed a similar instrument called a stethophone that used two belts, listen to different parts of the body at the same time. For example, one can listen to the heart and the other one can listen to the lungs. So this is his model. Unfortunately, we don't have a picture of him. And in 1961, Harvard Medical School professor Dr. David Lippman created the modern day version of the analog stethoscopes, which can listen to lower or higher pitched noises by adjusting the pressure of this bell. This is an enlarged picture of the bell. Um, Against the patient's body. So today, nurses and doctors around the world use Lippmann's design, and his brand is one of the most popular ones.
So, why should we have stethoscopes? Some of the reasons are most heart and lung diseases and defects are associated and reflected by sounds that the heart and lungs produce. So, you can listen to your heart and your lungs, and you can tell when there's something wrong. And a reason for making these electrical counterparts is that they have recording and amplification capabilities. These allow you to hear things better and be able to review these things later. It's also noted that nearly 80% of deaths in low and middle income countries are due to cardiovascular diseases. And these countries are places where you cannot easily find or afford an MRI, a CT scan, an ECG, an echo. So a lot of these people die not knowing what was wrong with them, especially in light of something like COVID, where you was heavily depended on being able to hear if there was something going wrong in your lungs, if there was fluid in there that was making the sounds of your lungs feel weird or hear weird. Uh, and it's also a noticeable thing released by the World Health Organization is that in 2019, heart and lung issues were 5 of the top 6 leading causes of death in the entire world.
As we design our digital stethoscopes, there are the bio signals that we have to discuss. So auscultation is the primary function of the digital stethoscope, and it's a common step in physical examination that healthcare provider use to listen to the sound of heart, lungs, like arteries, and other parts of the body. And today we're going to primarily focus on the heart and the lung sounds as our biosignal inputs. So heart sounds are created from blood flowing through the heart chambers as the cardiac valves open and close during the cardiac cycle. There are the normal heart sounds, which is the S1 and S2 sounds, and here are the physiology behind them. And there are the abnormal heart sounds that can also be detected by our stethoscope. So it allowed the doctors to hear the signals pretty clearly. For the lung, The sounds are generated by airflow through the trachea bronchial tree. It's this area. Through our stethoscope, the sounds from the lungs can also be clearly recorded or listened to.
So, what does it take to build an electric stethoscope? Well, you start with an input device, which is normally either a standard microphone or some sort of pressure sensor. That signal is then converted into an electric signal, which is then fed into a high pass filter. This high pass filter removes frequencies that are too low, that could be generated by any of the surrounding body systems, such as if you're trying to read the heart, you want to try and remove some of these lower frequencies from the lungs. This will also remove any offset from the signal, which would be amplified in the next stage, which is an amplifier. This amplifier is what's used to control the volume of the sound. This is done with a normal adjustable resistor, which will increase or decrease the gain of the signal. This amplified signal is then fed into a low pass filter, which removes the noise from the signal, making it clear and easier to interpret. This is then output into either a wearable device, into headphones, or it's fed into a computer in which it's recorded and saved. So the reason that you want an electric stethoscope compared to an analog are, while few reasons, these reasons are very important. One of the biggest problems with an acoustic stethoscope is that the sound is extremely low. It can be very hard to hear some of these sounds, especially if these defects and diseases are just starting to develop. You also get what you pay for these acoustic stethoscope. So some of these lower price stethoscopes that you will find very prevalent in lower income countries are very bad at hearing these small sounds, thus leading to misdiagnosis or no diagnosis. Another huge benefit to an electric stethoscope is the recording capabilities. By being able to record these diagnoses, you can further review them down the road and get a more concrete diagnosis for your patients, or you can send these to a specialist who might not even be in the same country as you, who can give you a more beneficial diagnosis to your patient.
One of the industry leaders in making digital stethoscope is the 3M Littleman Core digital stethoscope. So their device allows them to have the Echo app pairing function, which allows the recording of the auscultation and also the inspection of the waveforms generated from the signals. And it's about $300. There is a YouTube video from a real doctor and his real user experience using this stethoscope, and it can be viewed in this YouTube link. And here's the works cited. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation on the digital stethoscope. Hope you have a nice day. Bye.